The G&C is here, you need to coordinate the guests. It's only you will tell them about their menstrual period, about their way to behave in the community or in our society. When you are getting to mature age, what you know supposed to do, what you supposed to do as a girl. They say they have, but I never see anybody because I'm a new teacher here. I'm from GSS airport, but notwithstanding, I have already spent like 2 sessions here now. I never see anything like G&C. They say they have, but I don't even see the.
The ordeal of a guidance and counseling teacher who was recently transferred from Government Secondary School Airport to Buzunkure Junior Secondary School Kuje Area Council of the Federal Capital Territory. Her narrative revealed that the state of her new place of duty, Junior Secondary School Buzunkure, shows no place for guidance and counseling as a unit in the school. Hence, she has no platform to operate as a guidance and counseling teacher. AD4 TV Radio will be examining this situation as regards the place of specialized subject teacher, maximizing their productivity and enhancing studies of students in post-basic schools in the Federal Capital Territory. As it is often said that the specialized teachers are better able to hone their skills. Pivotal to mention in this documentary is the significance of focal areas such as guidance and counseling education as well as security education, subjects that easily influences behavioral psychologies of students that have now been included as thematic areas of teaching and learning in junior secondary schools across the country. Public schools in the FCT are not also left out to the inclusion of this subject in the school curriculum. This student of Government Secondary School Buhari shares her experience.
Yes, we have security education and guidance and counselor subjects. Yes, we have teacher for security education and guidance and counselor, but we don't have the subject of guidance and counselor in our timetable.
Fundamentally, specialized teachers deliver in-depth knowledge, they seek student engagement, impact on teaching quality, as well as gives opportunities to targeted interventions. Teachers. The experience of the Buzunkure Junior Secondary School teacher has now made known how students are left to themselves in getting necessary support in the areas where they need improvement. On the 5th of June 2023, the Universal Basic Education Commission disclosed that so far it has disbursed the sum of 57 billion naira to state, including the Federal Capital Territory Administration, for Teachers Professional Program in the last 13 years. These funds were released to achieve teacher professional improvement across the 774 local government areas, including the 6 area council of the Federal Capital Territory. Education observers highlight the deficiencies students face in not having appropriate experts teaching the subject.
Join us as we examine issues of corruption affecting the standard of education in public schools in the Federal Capital Territory in Nigeria at all levels of education and the impact on the girl and boy child, people living with disabilities, women and youth in general. Join Leaves on Worms on AD4 TV Radio, where government strategies on these critical areas and their impact on the lives of residents of the territory are x-rayed. Stay tuned on our channels weekly for this revealing program jointly produced by AD4 TV Radio and Wole Soyinka Center for Investigative Journalism and supported by MacArthur Foundation.
We love AD4 TV Radio.
Well, in terms of guidance and counseling teachers, the truth is that they are just few, and it's not every school that have such teachers because many of them do not have trained teachers who can give this guidance and counseling and then also teach as a subject. Recently, I had an interaction with some of them who said they are being overworked because they are just few. That's in the places where you have them. So they don't even have the time to give students the normal counseling that they are supposed to give them. And this has made it very difficult for them to reach out to the number of students they have. So now they seem to be taking, for me, I think they are a bit derailing from what guidance and counseling is, because most schools that have it, what they do is they only get to maybe get involved in programs. Sometimes they do career fair, sometimes they do maybe all these special, the day of the international girl child and all those kind of activities. So they cash in on such things and maybe give speech and other things. That's what most people do now as guidance and counseling. But remember, in those days, as a student, we have an office of the guidance and counseling, and we have it as a subject. And then students who have challenges can always go to the office and talk to the teacher. Now, but the truth is that the implication of not having these students is that these guidance and counseling teachers is that, whether we like it or not, we are experiencing a lot of moral decadence especially in the basic education level. A lot of students are doing so many things which they ought not to do. So when you look at this, it's because most times the way the country is going now, the family has failed them, the school has failed them, and the society has failed them as well. So if we have these people who try to talk to students, you try to make them, especially when students have issues, personal issues, if you can bring them closer and talk to them, give them the counseling they need and make them to feel better, that would have been. But now we don't have it. And then another challenge is that in places where we have them, some of the teachers are just so impossible that the students cannot even go to them even when they have challenges. Because I spoke to some students who said, look, when you go to these teachers with your problem, they use it to discuss in class. Sometimes they use it to tease you, sometimes they use it to mock you, and there may be something that you think you wanted to keep personal, and then it becomes the subject of ridicule. And because of that, most students don't go to themselves either. So the only thing is that whenever they have a program as guidance and counseling, they organize programs, students will attend and they play and they go home. But the real essence of guidance and counseling is no longer there, because most of the places where you have these teachers, they are just not the trained guidance and counselor. They are just the teachers who happens to find themselves, because in the absence of this, this is the only position we have, can you take it? And you take it and you make yourself a counselor by force. So, and then when you look at it now, how many people even go to school today to apply for admission and tell you I want to read guidance and counseling? I want to believe that you can get just few, if there are. So the only people who end up as guidance and counseling is because maybe they needed an admission desperately, and if they can't get what they want, they either push you to education or they push you to guidance and counseling. That's the only way now people are going there. I don't think you will find people there are only few people. Maybe at the postgraduate level you might find people based on the nature of the job they do, they might want to come and do that. But at an undergraduate level, I can tell you that nobody, but I can't remember the last time I had someone saying that I want to read guidance and counseling. It is not possible. So because we don't have this training, there are courses that are actually going into extinction, if you ask me. But the truth is that the university system find a way to put people there, those people who do have the required mark to get their desired course. Sometimes they push you there. So you just want to be in the university, you're not okay, I'll just go and read it. That's how people end up as guidance and counseling. But otherwise, there is none. So the truth is that the impact is actually telling on the society, because what the secondary school children are doing now is far, far, far beyond expectation. So if the children have maybe the proper and the trained teachers who will counsel them, who will show them the right way, the love and everything, and then parents too have to play a role in doing this, because so many parents now have left the work of parenting to the teachers. So that's why sometimes when you see stories that even when students are abused, they can't even go to their parents because their parents don't even have time for them. So we need to look at all those things. These are things that are actually, and having guidance and counseling is key point in the education policy of Nigeria that the government should provide. But if we don't have it, then that means there is an issue.
Yeah, we went to school, we didn't have them, but our mothers were doing that. Our culture did that. Our old kind of life did that before we became, now they are Gen Z, like they call them Generation Z or something. And everything we learned, they don't get it. I pity them, I pity their future. But for the schools, we need to go back to drawing board. We need to know their sense of counselling. That is why we have a lot of suicide cases in young people today. Nobody to talk to. Things are so difficult, they can't talk to anybody, either because of discrimination, also because of the social environment they find themselves, where it's out of fashion for you to complain about something you lack or something you wish for. So the schools should, as a matter of urgency, reenact the issue of counseling. At least we are being suffocated in this space of suicide among young people. They are taking what's that called, that cockroach thing? What do you call that thing? Sniper. They are doing a lot of things to kill themselves. If they were counseling, if people could hear them out, maybe they would have not do that. So let us please, I think it's an appeal from me that we should reenact that. And also parents, we should not leave all our role to the house help and to the maid, no matter how specialized that maid is. A mother is a mother. When I sit and talk with my children heart to heart, I know the impact, unlike when a teacher talks to them. So parents should go back and do their job as parents too. Thank you
so much.
Ku kasance tare da mu yayin da muke tattaunawa kan yadda matsalolin cin hanci da rashawa ya dabaibaye ingancin ilimi a makarantun gwamnati da ke birnin tarayya Abuja da ma Najeriya a matakan ilimi daban-daban, tasirin ilimin ga 'ya'ya mata da maza da ma masu bukata ta musamman, mata da matasa ma ba a bar su a baya ba. Kasance da kafar AD4 TV Radio don ilmantuwa kan manufofin gwamnati, tsare-tsare da ma yadda matakan aiwatar da su ke tasiri ko akasin haka. Yin tankaɗe da riraya na daga cikin abubuwan da muke baiwa muhimmanci. Ku tabbatar kun kasance da tashar mu ta AD4 TV Radio a kowane mako don sauraron wannan shiri. Bisa ɗaukar nauyin AD4 TV Radio da cibiyar Wole Soyinka da ke tallafawa binciken injin da tallafawar gidauniyar Makata.
I think what happens is that when it comes to guidance and counseling, I don't want to say that it is something that is not taken serious. In fact, for me, I remember when I was still young, then that's why the fact that I attended a private school, our guidance and the person in the guidance and counseling unit wasn't even a trained G&C specialist. The person was a biology teacher who was just placed there. So, and I think that another thing is that we do not really, our teachers training, our colleges of education are not really churning out G&C specialists, and even our universities are not really churning out G&C specialists. And the few people that we have who are in G&C, most of them don't have the opportunity to find employment in public schools. Most of them is either they are in private schools or they are in other professions. For instance, I believe that a specialized G&C teacher knows the right question to ask. It knows when to judge and when not to judge, knows how to make students feel comfortable around them. So schools now teach security education, technical education without experts in security studies or technical experts. It's still the same thing with G&C. See, when you have somebody who is not a specialist in an area, when you have somebody who is not a specialist in a certain field, even they themselves, they don't really have an experience, they don't really understand what they are teaching. So what happens is that they can't really transfer adequate knowledge to those people they are teaching. So there is no impact at the end of the day. So I think it's very important because, like I said earlier, G&C teachers are well specialized in those areas. Whenever a student is disturbed, whenever they have to talk about things, they know the right things to say. They have been trained. This is their field. Well, as regards I'm not in public schools, yes. Like the school I once visited in Lugbe for research purposes and all of that. In fact, they don't even have anything as the G&C units.
For me, on this, I feel whatever they are teaching them, they are just the basic part of security, which we should know. It's not maybe in-depth of security. Everybody knows the basic part of security, I think so. Like be observant. When you see anything, you get to say something like the police will usually say. But even at that, I think it is important they have an expert who teaches those courses in every field, in every subject. You need an expert. That's why even when you go to College of Education, you have different students in different departments. It's because they want them to be specialized. So it is better they have specialized people teach any subject or particular subject in school. Having those people who are not in that field, who are not security experts, come to teach these courses, it will not really give the student the in-depth of security knowledge they really desire, they need they really need. I remember going for a training. Then it was the former the publicity secretary, DSS then, that took us. And then the woman, because she's an expert and you know the way DSS operates, there are some things she taught us that day. There are some things she said and I never knew, at my age at that time. They were about security, very key points. But she was able to do justice to that topic because she's an expert. You can imagine her telling us, where you see someone, you don't just communicate, you look into the eyes of the person. You should be able to describe the eyeballs of the person. You should be able to at least tell one or two things the person is putting on. In case of anything, you should be able to say, okay, he put on this, his eye, he has also kind of eyes, and that will go a long way to help the security agency to track these people. And then I was wondering, these are informations I never knew all this while. But at least because she's an expert, she was able to do justice to that. And it will not be too much for us to also have our kids or our students have this knowledge. It is very important. I don't know how they intend to achieve this, because before now, I don't think there are any courses like that in our colleges of education that have to do with specializing security. Maybe as time goes on, they'll begin to introduce this in their curriculum so that teachers will be specializing in this field as well.
The 2022 National Personnel Audit conducted by the Universal Basic Education Commission revealed that 67.5% of teachers in public schools were yet to attend in-service training between the years 2018 and 2022. This prevailing situation has continued to have implications for quality education delivery, even in the public schools in the Federal Capital Territory. Education specialists who spoke to AD4 TV Radio alluded the development to the inability of colleges of education to producing specialists in this field. Others mentioned the gap in the inability of the Federal Capital Territory administration to meet learners' need in organizing training sessions for the teachers who found themselves teaching this subject.
It's a shame to the Nigerian government and every other critical stakeholders, because teachers' incentive and their welfare is one of the things that any meaningful country will put as a priority to make sure that the teachers' welfare is being taken care of, because these are the people that are building the generation that will sustain the economy and the development of the country. So I am disappointed to tell you that teacher welfare in the FCT is very, very poor. I feel that the government, especially the FCT minister and other stakeholders, should call an emergency on teachers' welfare. We are not supposed to politicize teachers' welfare. We are not supposed to play lip service when it comes to teachers' welfare. These are the people that develop the next generation that will stand and compete with their other counterparts in every country. And we are talking about holding their salary, not paying their welfare, not training them, and not retraining them.
On the issue of not having specialized teachers teaching specific courses or subjects in schools, I think it's a general problem that has been there over time. Across the country, there is a short supply of teachers for specialized subjects. Even amongst persons with disability, they don't have enough supply of teachers to handle that aspect as well. So it extends to issues like security and also G&C, as you noted earlier. But this is actually a very serious problem. But the responsibility for this does not only lie with the government, it is a shared responsibility that all candidates seeking to study educational courses in universities, colleges of education, and polytechnics have to take seriously. There has to be some kind of motivation that government can incentivize candidates seeking to study educational courses so that they can apply for specialized courses. Because of the way the teaching profession is maligned and denigrated in the country, people do not seem to have passion for it, and those who go into it do not see it as something that they have to belong in it, and so they just see it like a means to get at something bigger, and that's why this is happening. So, but government on its own part can also ensure that those employed into its teaching teaching staff have some level. Some percentage has specialization in the courses, the special courses that are run in these basic schools. I think a special subject. I think that will help to address the issue.
They further highlighted the place of counterpart funding of the FCT grant from the Universal Basic Education Commission.
Vulnerable children are forced to drop out of school following their inability to pay hidden costs and other unauthorized fees, which primary and secondary schools say they have no choice but to charge. The Sakefa official, Odinaka, further speaks on the impact of corruption on the basic education subsector.
Making public school, especially at the basic level, very, very attractive is very simple. We have the resources. We have what it takes to make sure that our children are being protected. But because of corruption, wickedness, greed, nonchalant attitude of it is not my own, my child is not there, whatever that happens to those children is not my business. That is what is keeping us here. How much does it cost to do a perimeter fence? If an allocation like for UBEC funding, states supposed to put in their own counterpart fund before UBEC put their money. Unfortunately, what most states are doing, immediately they put their own 5% counterpart fund in the account, and UBEC brought their own. They take the whole money, and nobody will account for it. Nobody will sanction them until when that state governor leaves the office. It doesn't make sense. You must account for the money you are giving to make sure that all these infrastructures, building fences, making sure that these children have toilets, making sure that there is enough wash facilities in the school. It has been budgeted, and this money has been given to you. So even if all is not given to you, can you account for the little that was given to you? But no, in our own case, these people will sit down, eat the cow, eat the aboki, and also eat the rope, and nobody is talking. It is so alarming. If there's going to be a law that states that if so amount is given to you for education, if you default, this is what is going to happen to you instantly. Because every other sector is embedded in education. If we get the education system in Nigeria right, I put it to you that every other system will be fine.
Documentary by AD4 TV Radio, sponsored by Wale Soyinka Center for Investigative Journalism and supported by MacArthur Foundation, seeks to boost the quality of learning and project the expected level of competence of specialized teachers, it also brings to the fore the significance of teacher professional development towards achieving quality teaching and learning in Federal Capital Territory public schools.